Hello and welcome to a brand new synth soundset walkthrough. Who's this old friend? Why, if it isn't Native Instruments Massive knocking at the door. It's been ages since I did a massive soundset, possibly more than 2 years, I think. But it's drawn me back in, bless it. This particular soundset is actually born out of the fact that I worked on a couple of bespoke projects using Massive, and whilst neither of the projects actually quite worked out in the end, the situations with changes of mind, of musical direction, that kind of thing, I was left with a bunch of sounds I really liked. And so I thought, well, let's make some more sounds, add them to the mix, and create a full sound set out of them. Because I know there are still plenty of you out there that still dig Massive, even though it hasn't had any decent updates in a very long time. It's still got a fun sound, I think. But having said that, what I've hopefully have achieved with this sound set is doing something a little bit different. A sound that perhaps if you have bought Massive sound sets before, you haven't quite got. We'll see though. You can judge that by listening through. So we'll just pop straight into the sounds, and we'll work through the types over here, and hopefully won't end up with too many duplicates. So we've got some key sounds. We'll start off with the pianos and keys because there's a few sort of electronic piano sounds in here. So that's obviously a bit more of a synthy key sound, but if you look here, it has an electronic piano macro. Ooh, so what does that do? Well, let me show you. Reduces it to this. And there's loads of this sort of macro programming in these patches. It's one of the things I do like about Massive, being able to have all these different sounds, versions of the sounds on right in front of you, and really easy to create. So here's another piano. Let's have a look. Nice little soft sound, that one. So that's almost like harpsichord-y kind of sound there. So yes, this I haven't got the organ sounds. Let's go on to the leads. There's something about this sound set that is slightly less digital than normal. It's I've tried to give it a vibe whereby it has a more organic. It's not analog exactly. There's some analog feel to it, but it's not. A Massive. It can't really do analog. There's no point in trying to a certain extent. But anyway, what's this sound? And we've got to try out these macros, haven't we? Is it more woody feel, and then weird? What does weird do? Okay. Hang on, isn't that what we just played? See, I've only been going 5 seconds and I've already started using the same sounds twice. Imbecile. And there's we've got bit crusher. It's fun, and tone. The sort of general feel of how this sound set's come together. It's got this sort of modern sci-fi vibe, I think. So it does have it has a kind of a warmth to it that you don't always associate with Massive, I guess. But the whole thing's very atmospheric and sort of techie and sci-fi, and I think that comes across when you listen. I do highly recommend checking out the demo tracks because there's quite a few of them that are just Massive Omicron, and I think they really capture what you can do with this sound set. Let's play with that cut off. Oh, it closed it. I was expecting it to open it, but there you go. More fool me. Okay, let's move on to pads. I've done that again, haven't I? I quite like this pad. This is a nice pad. And that's probably that patch is probably the perfect example of how it has it's what I've described the sound set as being an analog sound set trapped in a digital skin. Lots of atmosphere. That's quite a nice sound. I do like that one. Now, those of you of a certain age and of a certain nationality, i.e. British and probably my age, will be immediately thinking of a 1980s Turkish Delight advert. I can't remember the tune. I'm not going to try and play it. There's something like... No, I can't remember. So I'm not going to try and play it. We'll be embarrassed by that. But there are some... I just have this fondness for Massive. It's hard to put. I know there are many digital synths that have come out since that are better than Massive in many ways. They do more things. They have more controls, more modulation. They sound better because the sort of the sound engines have been updated more recently. They don't have as much of a CPU hit, all that sort of thing. And yet there really is something about Massive that just sits so brilliantly in a mix. It just does. Nice harmonic pad, this one. I think, I'm just trying to remember whether this is the one or not. This is one of my favourite patches. So whilst there's some of the analog spirit of soundtracks like Ex Machina, and to a certain extent, I think there's a little bit of Blade Runner 2049 in this. Those are quite analog sounding, and once they sort of inspire the sound set, this isn't, like I said, this isn't an analog sound set as such, because it's massive and it has to be digital, but it's not as digital as Massive normally is. So there's also a feel of, say, the soundtrack to Sunshine, which I think is just an amazing piece of work by John Murphy and Underworld. A fabulous soundtrack that, if you don't know it, do go and seek it out. It's brilliant. And if you haven't seen the film, go and check it out as well, because it's Danny Boyle, who rarely puts a foot wrong, and written by Alex Garland, who then went on to make Ex Machina as a director and all that sort of business. And things like Mass Effect, and the Deus Ex game series. So there's definitely a sort of a sci-fi feel to this. And whilst, analog is the cool thing again, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to love digital. Okay, I'm being a bit silly now. I'm gonna come and do the sequency stuff last, I think. So let's do the bass. If we do bass lines, then hopefully I can come back to basses and not screw up. I do wish these were separated out. It doesn't make my life very, very easy doing these videos. Well, never mind. Let's go for some bass lines. Well, that takes all the bass out, doesn't it? I don't know why it is, but I always feel that Massive is particularly cool on my playing and timing. See? Rubbish. Did that one better. And even the ones that sound really sort of gnarly like this, you can just sort of... You can pull out all that gnarliness. And make them mad. See, the macros just do so much. They are your friend. And if you're not, I mean, if you don't like the initial sound, then there's always going to be like these little controls that bring everything down. Always the pitch. So there's always options. Okay, so that's the basis. So come out the bass lines. Maybe now I can... maybe now I'll have the wit about me to recognise which ones I haven't already gone through. Put some harmonic on here. It's quite subtle. Clerkenwell. No, I missed that out on the bass one, actually. This is one of my favourites. No, that's drum beat with a bit of bass in this. I think this is the bass. No. Bass. There's always going to be a bit of that in a massive soundset, isn't there? Are you serious? No, don't do that. Some things can never be discreet, can they? It's just like, I'm going to make a big display of you looking at me. Ah, ha, ha, ha. All I want to do there is close the bloody window with the right click and I have to bring it up. Scumbag. Well, that's professional. Thank you, everyone. My own fault for not checking I turned it off, I guess. That's how playing there. Okay, drums. So we've got some drum sequences. And you can control sort of the various bits. You can bring in and out kicks, hats, and bells. Sort of bell symbols. Let's find one that's got a lot in. It's quite a nice one. Okay, so it should be a good example. So we can take out the kick, or bring it right to the full. So lots of fun to be had there. There's different stuff in here. Why is some percussion and some drums? Maybe it's a slightly more organic feel. Well, it's got a bit of everything going on in there. So here we have the slightly more tonal version. This brings more percussive vibes in. That's a fun sound, isn't it? Mallet instruments. We played bass as a lead. I might as well have a little play of this one as well. Okay, I don't think we've got any vocal patches. Durango apparently claims to be a vocal patch. I don't know if that's true. That may be a mistake that I need to fix. Okay, so Soundscapes. Here's possibly my favourite part of this particular sound set. There's a lot of moody stuff in this, which I like. Proper hold one key down and let it go business. I'm pretty sure I used this one in my demo track because I liked it so much. Okay, let's see what else we've got. Definitely a darkness to these soundscapes, sorry. That's more of a padscape kind of vibe. I do think this is something that Massive does really well for cinematic music that almost certainly always gets overlooked when people consider it to just be a dubstep EDM style sounding synth. And again, loads of controls you can have a fiddle with. Push this to have a bit more sort of bass end. Speed up the LFOs. Or slow them down, of course. I got a couple of sound effects. We got 3 sound effects, in fact. This one, I think, I'm going to guess from this that it's kind of a riser thing where I couldn't make any useful macros. And then this one's a little sort of pulsy effect sound. Played up and down the keyboard. Okay, let's go back here and try and find some stuff that's not things we've already listened to, because we've listened to bass lines and drum sequences. Don't recognise that one. Tighten the envelope on it. Now, is this the really weird one I did? Yep. Okay, so this... is it this one? Now, at first, that's a bit weird. What's that all about? I'll play it a little bit lower down, so I think it's a little better bassy. Sounds strange. Is it usable? Watch this. So there's a lot going on in that sound. And so, yeah, I guess we can finish there, can't we, with that rather unusual sound. Have you got any stabs and hits? Eastern Express is apparently a stab hit. Very DX7. Okay, so that's Massive Omicron. Now, as I say, it's a little bit, hopefully a little bit of a different approach to programming with Massive. That means that, you have a look at it again and go, oh, I have neglected Massive, and now I think I will take a little look at it again. Do check out the demo tracks as well as this walkthrough video, because I really think that gives you a proper flavour of how this all comes together as one. A number of the demo tracks are just the soundset, as I say, not they haven't added much else in, or even just listen to the versions of the demo tracks that are the naked ones, because I just think these sounds as a whole gel together really well for that sort of modern sci-fi scoring vibe. So thank you very much for taking a butcher's at me wandering through the sound sets. I hope you've enjoyed what you've heard, and that you'll be back soon to listen to and watch some more of my walkthrough videos. I've got some special ones coming up. I've got one at Christmas, which I think you're all going to like. It's the return of an existing series that has been very popular. And then I've got an absolute corker for you, something I've had a whale of a time working on, coming in January, which is going to be a lot of patches for one of your favourite synths. And it's got a really good backstory to this particular sound set, as how it came about, what I've been programming the sounds for. So I hope you're going to enjoy finding out about that one, listening to what it's all about, because it's probably the most exciting sound set I've ever worked on. Yeah, that's whet your appetite, hasn't it? Okay, but for now, Massive Omicron is great, so go out there and grab your copy. And thank you very much once again for your support and all that sort of business. Yep. Speak to you soon. Ta-ta. Thanks again. Bye.